Hey guys, Drolic here, back with another video, and wait, should I put myself on the screen? Hold on one second. Alright, I wasn't sure if I should have or not, but I'm on the screen now, so it is what it is. But yeah, today has been a pretty massive day for Nopal. Now, if you guys haven't seen the 3.7 live stream already, I mean, hopefully my title didn't spoil you or anything, but I would recommend going and watching that real quick and then coming back to this video. But yeah, today we have some pretty cool news regarding this person, dude. This absolute baddie. So, as you guys might have seen, or hopefully you've seen at this point, we now have official news that we are getting another one of these golden companion spirit tokens. Let me just show the shop real quick on this. We are getting another one of these. So, the question is now to be raised with the knowledge of this. By the way, I just want to say that this wasn't even in leaks. The fact that Topaz was getting added to the shop and that we were getting another token, I just want to let that be known. Nobody knew. This was a complete surprise to literally everyone, at least as far as I know, right? So pretty crazy. Yeah, they're adding it to the character redemption and the Lycone shop. Maybe one day they'll give us 4 shards for free. Probably not, since this is the only thing you can directly buy from the battle pass. You can't do that for the characters, but we'll see when that day comes. But 2 things before we get into the main subject of today's video. What this probably means is, here's my guess. Someone in my chat brought it up earlier today. I think it sounds completely reasonable. So the precedent is, every anniversary, we get 1 golden companion spirit token, and they add something to the shop. I mean, 2 things related to the anniversary character is the current precedent. And then what just happened, you know how 3.7 is the last version of 3.0? I mean, that sounds reasonable. The last version of 4.0 might be the 2nd edition every now and then. So every 0.5 versions sounds pretty reasonable. I mean, that's not 100% how it's going to be until they say it themselves, but, you know, that just lines up, that adds up systematically. It makes sense to me. I would like if it was more consistent and they added more characters, but yeah, I think from now on we should expect, or it's reasonable to expect, 1 token for the anniversary, or more if they're feeling quirky, and 1 token for the end of each version. So yeah, now let's get into the main debacle of today. So, since Topaz, let me actually pull up the HoYoLab post, if I still have it up here. This is the official announcement. As we see from this screen, I don't believe there's anything I didn't see on the stream. I would love if I missed something, but yeah, so as far as we know, they are just adding Topaz to the shop between 3.7 and 4.0. So wait, now that I think about it, wasn't the claim period for the first token way longer? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it was until the end of 3.4, no? So started in 3.2, end of 3.4, 3.5, is that a version less? So, that's, I mean, it doesn't really matter. I mean, to be honest, it's good. It's not going to change the entire world if someone completely misses out on this token, assuming that they continue just giving these out. Obviously, it would be a little sad if a future character comes out, you want their E1, but yeah, not the end of the world. It's just kind of weird that it's a little shorter than normal. At least it's the end of 4.0 that it's claimable until, but yeah, regardless. So, free Topaz, Hunt, Fire. Pretty huge, right? Now, you guys might be thinking, I mean, if you guys are even thinking this, is this even worth it for Nopal to select? Especially because of another elephant in the room, Ruan Mei E1. So, I completely agree. I think that it's something that I'm definitely going to be spending the next 10 days thinking over, because I'm not 100% certain myself. Please let me know your guys' thoughts in the comment section below, but I personally think I'm actually going to go for this Topaz. I think it is a good option for my account. I think it's, I'll go into more reasons, more specifically in a bit, but I do believe that Topaz is the coverage that this account is desperately needing right now, and the reason is, right now, Archer is guaranteed every single MOC clearing 5 cycles or lower if we want to min-max it. No matter what, he's getting at least 5 cycles. With this team, I guess I gotta specify, if we have to, you know, make do and replace RMC or Ting Yun, or replace RMC with Ting Yun, replace Ruan Mei with Pela or something, it's gonna cost us a few cycles, but regardless, if we just have this exact team at the top, Archer's going to be clearing the 5 cycles no matter what. If we add Ruan Mei E1 to that equation, he's still going to be clearing 5 cycles. He's going to be clearing even better, but that's my justification. Ruan Mei is going to be helping the person that's already clearing just fine 99% of the time. See, he even agrees with me, bro. But yeah, I think this Eidolon is phenomenal, and it's probably one of the best buffs we could reasonably get to this account, depending on what they would add in the future. That's the thing. This would be the reasonable option for longevity's sake, and this would be way more permanent than Topaz, because they're giving us, I think, bare minimum, at least one every anniversary. I think towards the end of the patch is not guaranteed going to be yearly. I don't see why it wouldn't be with the characters they're adding, but I think it's completely reasonable. Like, let's say, for example, they add Robin to the shop next year, next anniversary. I would probably regret this a little bit, but again, that completely depends on what characters they give us for free on no pull by the next anniversary. It could be, for all we know, that they give us a new MC that's doesn't use Topaz at all, doesn't really help Clara, is just not even remotely usable with Topaz, and I just end up completely regretting choosing her. But that's the thing. What we'd be doing with Topaz is we would be using her with Clara, or we would be using Hypercarry, which I don't even want to think about, but that would be the option, because right now, that's what we need more for our second team. We need units that aren't going to be used on Archer's best in slot team. Because frankly, this is the no-pull wheelchair. If we put this exact team to any unit in this account, or I mean, if we replace Gallagher with Don Hung, if we give any unit this exact team, it's going to make them do, you know, probably the most damage they could possibly do on this account, right? So by default, if we have a other DPS that uses different units, like for example in this case, Clara would be heavily locked to Topaz, and Topaz would, I guess, have their own way around things with, you know, Tingyun Pela, that by default gives them more value than a unit we already have, strengthening a unit that's already doing good. So, again, I'm not sure if this is the method. I'm going to think about it for around 10 days, which is how long until the next patch, but in my opinion, if this could get us a clear that we wouldn't have gotten before, then it's worth it for this account. And no matter what, I do not think that the E1 Ruan Mei is going to be the biggest missing, like, I'm not going to miss it the most out of anything I've missed in this account. I won't be like 10 years in the future, like, if I didn't buy that Topaz, well, I would have gotten Anomaly Arbitration finished or something. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think this is going to be the biggest regret of all time if it turns out they never give us another token in the future. Well, okay, it definitely will be a regret if they just, you know, stop giving us tokens and, you know, they'd start adding, like, Tribby, Sunday, Robin, you know, and Sparkle and shit. Then I would start regretting it a little bit. But, like, again, this account, if we look at it, there is not a single fire DPS, and there is not really that great of buffers for Clara, who's technically our second best DPS in this account. So I am reasonably thinking that Topaz is a really good idea for this account. She is a completely functional at E0 S0. She's actually one of the few units that's like designed for Final Victor, which we have S5 by the way. You know, this is a very weird light cone for 90% of hunt units, but for some reason it works really goddamn well with Topaz, so that's pretty cool, right? Because if I'm not mistaken, Topaz has a pretty low base attack or something. I kind of forgot. I just think that, for example, with Feels Crafting alone, if we had Topaz in the current MOC, like, let's compare the teams. If we had her right here, okay, instead of Moze, just pretend it's Asta. If we had Topaz here, instead of Asta, I genuinely feel like we could maybe clear this top half in like 6 or 7 cycles. Do I know if that's true? No. I'm completely making this up because the fact of the matter is I don't have Clara built on any other of my accounts, so I literally cannot try it even if I wanted to. But just because of the fact that this is how good this team did with only one DPS and Asta supporting Clara, I mean, I'm sorry Asta, but fact of the matter is she just really isn't that good. But with her doing that much for this team, I feel like at least there's a fair shot we could have shaved off around half of our cycles, which I think the end amount we took was like 13, right? We do more damage per skill, we charge more for the memory turbulence. I don't think it counts the summons as a memo spread, unfortunately, but if it does, then that would even add more. I don't know. I think Topaz could actually make a difference. But the main endgame that Topaz would be really good for, that I'm the most excited about to at least try, is Apocalyptic Shadow. I'm trying to pull it up. Where is it? Yeah, Apocalyptic Shadow. So, if you guys have seen one of my videos before about no pull, the main issue with Apoc right now is that Clara is my only other DPS that works in this endgame, and when it's not, it's Shui. And as you can see, I haven't even tried getting a clear right now because this one's just cooked, man. This one's just done for. But yeah, so my main issue is, Clara, she does damage off of her own turn. The entire basis of Apocalyptic Shadow is doing damage on your own turn when the enemy is weakness broken. Topaz would be able to at least do that, unlike Clara, who just has one turn every 5 years and can do a AoE skill that would change kind of nothing single target. But also, by the way, this is one of the reasons why I really regret making my account after Dr. Ratio, because if we had Dr. Ratio and Topaz, dude, they would be pretty fucking nice in Apocalyptic Shadow. I'm not gonna lie. Do I think we would be getting 3-star clears in Apoc? No. But we might go from doing 0 stars to 2 stars, and at the very least, if they ever rerun a Kafka Apoc, which I think is very likely, and then give a heavy shield to follow up or something, I think it's very likely that we could 3-star, big exclamation on that, or question mark on that. I'm not saying we could, but I'm saying it's very possible. So, I mean, hypothetically, yeah, if we had Ratio, we'd be too powerful, bro. No, I'm joking. I don't think he would change that much, but he would make a difference, that's for sure, bro. But that's my main thought process. The only mode that, Topaz would be worthless in is Pure Fiction. She would just be there for Aura, and Aura alone wouldn't really be able to do much else. Like I said earlier, though, more feels crafting on the Golden Companion Spirit token. Again, I will completely regret this if this is the last token they ever give us, and I'm just getting blindsided by their generosity this year, and they just stop giving characters from this point on. That was our last lifeline. No pull is just donezo from this. But, yeah, I think it's very reasonable. The next people that could be added to this, just off Feels Crafting alone, is, I think, either a Sparkle or Robin. I guarantee at least one of those I would expect to be on the next one, bro. I'd be kind of surprised if it was anyone better than that. For example, if they randomly show Tribby, God, imagine if Tribby gets added to this, holy shit. And then for the end of the year, so that's one thing that confuses me a little. So you guys remember that Ruan Mei E1 was released during the Caster's banner, right? And there was a clear reason for that. Ruan Mei and E1 at that time were on the premium team, or at least if you didn't have Tribby, Ruan Mei was the only replacement, and I was using Ruan Mei for my casters personally, so it made sense. You would use both of them with Caster's team as the closest premium options. E1 was the best healer at the time, but then Ruan Mei was just a side grade to Tribby, but still worked as a, second best in slot. So why exactly is Topaz getting added to this shop? So there are two things I could think of it being. Number one, this is a teaser for the upcoming 4.0 units, and they all have something that would scale really well with Topaz. I don't think so. That would mean they'd be heavy follow-up attackers or something, spamming summons, just forcing them to work differently or something. I don't know. Or they just randomly chose Topaz because she's one of the units that's very heavily reliant on Robin/Feijiao and doesn't really have a team use outside of that. But at the same time, though, the reason I'm more leaning towards the first one, I think that Feelscraft makes more sense, and I don't really think of any other options, because they could have easily added worse units to the Companion Spirit. They very easily could have added Seal, they could have added Blade, they could have added Argenti, they could have added Jingyuan, who would arguably be 500 times worse for this account than Topaz, in my humble opinion. I think that without a premium team, I mean, Jingyuan's better than Serval, but by much? No, not really that much, to be completely honest with you. That's the thing here. They, all things considered, added a pretty weird option that's still good. But they are obviously, you know, the second best in slot in their role, which is Fei Zhao's support, which is, you know, Cypher's #1, but Topaz still is very good, especially if you get her E1, you know? So what if the upcoming meta, whatever the upcoming path is something to do with Fei Zhao / something to do with follow-ups, single target hunt units? I am very excited to find out what the next MC is. So that's another thing that makes me think the Topaz selection, I might not regret it all that much. And especially if we remember they have buffed characters. Now they completely stopped doing it. Right now is about the time when I would have expected more buffs, because, you know, they gave the companion spirit and then buffed units. But it is completely 100% reasonable that they buff Topaz in the future. Now, God knows how long from now, but worst case scenario, if Topaz is a bad selection right now, if they wait like 2 years to buff her, and they buff her to the meta in 2 years, Topaz is gonna resurge and become crazy. 100%, dude. So, right now, I still think that Topaz is a great idea. I mean, in 10 days' time, I might change my mind, but let me know your guys' thoughts, what you guys would think in this scenario. Let me know your reasonings. Let me know if you have any specific thinkings that why you might rather E1 Ruan Mei. If you have any specific dreams that I might not have seen about Starl upcoming, please let me know. The future of this account depends on it, but not actually. I mean, no matter what, it's fine, but, you know. I do want to make the best possible choice for this account at all times. Topaz just seems like the best one right now. Kind of like last time, you know, a lot of people, when the standard selector was out, people were like, well, I mean, you should have chosen Bronya, right? But if you just really think about it, technically, yes, Bronya is the best unit in that selector, but for no pull, things just work differently, and meta just works differently for us with the selection of units we have. So just keep that in mind. Hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day / night, and I will see you guys tomorrow. By the way, I love this live stream and cannot wait to see what the next free unit is. Peace, everyone!